You have reached the SnailTrail4x4 Podcast voicemail. If you want to leave some feedback about Toyotas, have questions about Toyotas, maybe poke some fun at Toyotas, or let us know how your JL came with a Starbucks membership, then leave it all on the line and we'll get to it on the podcast. Keep crawling.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to SnailMail. This is the part of the Snail Trail podcast where we get to read letters from you guys and immediately rip them up and throw them away and talk about what we really want to talk about. So
pretty much how it goes.
I deserve that.
Seems like
stepped on my headphone cord as I was standing up.
Rookie. We get voicemails from you. We get Instagram messages from you. We get emails from you, all the above, but we mainly cover the voicemails on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we talk about what you guys ask us to, but sometimes, you lead us in a completely different direction and we talk about random stuff also.
Yeah. So that's fun. We're back up to 23.
Oh my gosh.
I will say 4 of them that just came in this week are from Reed.
Okay.
2 are from Zack from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And 1's from Kevin Poole.
Perfect.
So
I love it.
We are not going to get to those probably.
No, I was listening to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey and they were talking about how we have a whole new segment because we get so many voicemails.
Uh-huh.
And then they had like 3 and it was all like Donald Trump, Chris Farley, and random guys making fun of themselves and Jeeps.
Christopher Walken,
Walken, all of those.
The cooler.
And what I like about our episodes is it's actually you guys talking, giving feedback, asking us questions, and not just having the fun of it.
I will admit, I would not be upset if Christopher Walken decided he wanted to call.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy talking things over with the listeners, actually having questions.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's start off
23.
Back up to 20. I think we had it down to like 14 at the lowest, and we can't get caught back up.
No.
All right. So this one is from Tom up in Oregon.
Thanks for calling in.
See what Tom's got to say.
Hey guys, this is Tom up in Oregon with Clank and Beard Strong. I'm just calling because I listened to the Thursday episode where you talked about Tyler's electrical issue with his
your overheating
temperature sensor.
Yep.
And I wonder if you should look at that underdash wiring a little bit closer. If I recall, you were having some melted wires on the passenger side that were running dome lights or something like that. But I've seen a couple of that second generation 4Runner have like weird, massively melted down ground systems in the dash. One of which I unfortunately went through and fixed, and that was an absolute nightmare. The other one I let go. But either way, just thought maybe you need to pull that dash apart a little bit and take a closer look at the wiring in there and see what's going on. But anyway, have fun, guys. Talk to you later.
Thanks, man. I don't know.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
the wiring I was having issues with that I thought was under the dash or in the chassis harness, I think was due to the rear tailgate switch.
Okay.
My rear tailgate switch was being intermittent for a while, and at one point there it was getting stuck going up, turning the window to go up, and so now it doesn't work either way. And so I think what had happened when I had the batteries die and I had the weird electrical issue was the switch had gotten stuck trying to roll the window up, which then keeps sending power to the motor.
Yeah.
And it eventually just killed the battery. And then eventually the switch died, I think.
Okay.
Cause that hasn't reoccurred yet. I've never had anything remotely wrong with the battery since then.
Got it. Interesting.
Since my back tailgate has not been working anymore, the window motor from the key, I can still roll it up and down from the inside.
Oh,
so it's not the motor that's bad. I think it's a switch.
Got it.
In the key.
In the key, in the back door.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I don't, the sensors for the coolant temp sensor, so the sender as well as the ECU sensor, both of those are in the engine harness.
Sure.
So I don't know. It seems a little far-fetched that I would have an issue in the chassis harness impacting the sensors.
Yeah. And I know we kind of talked about it off air earlier today. This question falls kind of right in line about how, maybe maybe the gauge is giving you a wrong signal and your gauge is bad. But the thing is, you're also getting reports using an app through the ECU.
Mm-hmm.
So the ECU and the sensor are actually reporting the same output, and the ECU is a different system than the sensor.
Mm-hmm. The gauge.
Yep. So yeah, the cluster or the cluster and the chassis harness is a different system. So, but it's reporting the same output.
Yep.
So who knows? I'm still waiting to hear the conclusion. So.
I am too. I would love to hear the conclusion. So anyways, yeah, hopefully I don't have to dig into the dash. But we'll see.
Yes.
Next one up is Doug from Pennsylvania and Nicaragua.
Wow. Okay.
This could be a fun one.
Yeah. Hola.
Yeah, let's see what he's got to say here.
Hey, Jimmy and Tyler. This is Doug from Pennsylvania and Nicaragua. I've been a listener since back in the High Sierra days.
Wow.
I love the podcast. You guys are great. Lots of great information and just a lot of fun. Love the laughs, love the jokes. Keep them up, Jimmy. Hey, Tyler, on your overheating problem, I don't know if you've looked at it all. I don't even know if you have this or not, but I have a Nissan Frontier with a 5-speed and a diesel engine in it down in Nicaragua, and I was having this heating problem that I kept having. I replaced the radiator, the thermostat, water pump, and it's just every time I go up a hill, I mean, it would run all day long on the flat at 100 degrees outside and no problem on air conditioning and everything. As soon as I start going up a hill, the thing would heat up. And it turned out it was the fan clutch. The fan clutch was bad. It seemed like it would work fine and all, but when you get in the higher revs and somehow, when that engine's torquing up a hill, the fan would stop and it would overheat, and it was just driving me crazy. In fact, I blew the motor at one time. I had to rebuild it. But, at any rate, if you have one, you might want to check into that. So love the podcast. Love you guys. I think it's great. Thanks a lot. God bless. Bye-bye.
So that was actually the issue with the 22RE overheating. Back when I had a 22RE, was my fan clutch was out and I didn't know it because the fan still spins with with the residual motion of your crank spinning, right?
Right.
But it's not actually spinning fast enough to generate any airflow through the radiator.
Yeah. A good way to check is just stick your hand in the fan.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Did you really? I was joking. Okay, good. Don't do that.
Don't do that. No, you take a strip of paper and hold it in front of your grill. Okay. And it should suck the paper into your grill and up against your radiator if your fan is working properly. Okay. That's how you test a fan clutch. One of the ways to test it, the easiest way in my opinion that I found. I don't have a fan clutch in my engine.
You have electric fans.
Because I have an electric fan.
Yeah.
One thing I have been debating on doing is maybe it is just the electric fan cannot pull enough air through. I find that hard to believe, because the radiator is showing 150 degrees out of the lower radiator hose.
Yeah.
So the radiator and the fan and the air cooling that happens through the radiator is working, but the engine is still, cooling.
And maybe it's not cooling enough.
From 260 degrees difference? I don't know. It's getting down lower than thermostat.
Yeah.
So, I'm venturing to say that the fan system and airflow through the radiator should be good enough. Something else is going on.
Did you take the hood off yet?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
That is kind of next on my to-do list though.
Yeah.
So
except that MF Ryan's stealing the 4Runner this weekend. So can't try that.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yep.
Well, gracias. What was it? Don?
Doug.
Gracias, Doug, for calling in. I've got one of my good college friends was from Nicaragua.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am debating on just swapping out the electric fan though and going back to a mechanical fan just because I'm like, I don't know what else to do other than pull the engine and redo those sensors.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean, it's just another one of those things like, well, might as well try that.
Yeah.
If that's not working, I'll go back to, where I was.
Yeah. All right. So next one in is from our good buddy doing the rollover build.
Oh,
yeah.
Re-rim. He's actually leaving in like 2 weeks or something.
Oh, to go back to Idaho?
Yeah.
To do the cab swap?
I think this upcoming weekend, they are heading up there.
Or wait, no, he's doing a drivetrain axle swap.
I think I haven't been fully keeping up on his. I'm still in the text thread, even though I told him I can't go. But I think they're not doing a body swap. They're doing everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure why.
Wow.
But I think he has, because he just redid his head in his truck and he has better drivetrain. He has lower gears in his T-case, lower gears in the axles.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he just wants, I don't know. I don't know why they're going that way. I'm not sure.
Lee, call in. Or maybe this is what he's calling in.
Maybe
about.
this is what it is. Well, we're going to do a live stream on Wednesday, tomorrow, which is yesterday or 2 days ago when this airs. And I can ask him then.
Okay.
So, and then next Wednesday, I'm probably going to try to do a live stream with him again. I think we've been doing them on YouTube, but we've been doing them on the Solve Function page. Okay. But I think we're going to do the next one on the one that was 2 days ago on SnailTrail4x4. And the one I'm going to try to get him on the horn while he's up in Idaho and follow up with how well it's going and what's happening. So that's either going to be on SnailTrail4x4's page or Solve Functions page, but yeah, keep an eye out for those, especially the one, not, this upcoming Wednesday from this episode, will be a fun one if I can get Lee on the horn.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see what Lee has to say here for us today then.
All right.
Hello, Gastropod boys. It's Lee, Cruise the Cat, Solve Functions, all those things. Just want to say, we need to do some wheeling. And, good times. Driving back from the celebration for Marlin Crawl. Seeing you guys out there and everyone else. And hopefully we'll go wheeling soon on the episode Inspire about that. A while ago about if you should have a secondary vehicle, a trailer, a daily, all those things. Yes, they should. Apparently I like to do dangerously. And Donnie, Rover sucks. Bye.
What was that last comment about?
Donnie. Rovers suck.
Oh, Rovers suck. Good job, Lee.
Yeah. Stick it to him, Lee.
That's funny.
Well, get your rig fixed, Lee, and we'll go wheeling. How about that?
Should we start bribing people for iTunes reviews that just say Rovers suck?
Maybe.
Just we'll send you guys a sticker.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched this Instagram reel of Wheeling Diesel when he burnt up. I think it was a Ferrari in a cornfield.
Okay.
He did it on accident, sort of on accident or something like that. He drove a Ferrari or some fancy sports car into a cornfield and the grill filled up with corn and stalks or whatever. And then it overheated so it caught fire and stuff. And then he had another vehicle also at that. I think it was the AMG, the G-Wagon. I think that thing broke down. He had them crushed and cut up and scrapped. Okay. And then he sold the parts in a very nice package, wood base. This is part 1,000 of, 3,000 of the Ferrari or whatever it was. And he made a chunk of money by selling scraps of the parts. Lee, maybe you should cut up chunks of your 80.
Yeah.
And sell some chunks of your 80.
Yeah.
An A-pillar or something, and you could...
I want the part that his sweaty ass has been sitting on all these years.
Dude, I would love those seats too. Those seats are so nice.
Yeah.
Gosh, what are they, Shielmans?
Yep.
God, I want a set of those in Clifford.
They're bougie.
Yeah. Whereas like for the long trips in Clifford,
Mhm.
that would be the perfect way to go.
Yeah.
But just food for thought there, Lee. Think about that.
Yep. Scrap the 80, sell it off, man.
Yeah. Well, it's already scrapping the body.
That's true.
Body's not going to be used. So just
That's true.
cut it up and sell it.
Yeah. Do you know anybody who could 3D print some cases for them?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
I want number 10. Like
Yeah.
whatever you
Whatever
do.
it is.
If you, however many things you have, I want number 10 of 3,000 or whatever.
Why number 10?
I don't know. It's just been my favorite number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And 10 is also J in the alphabet.
Okay.
But that I actually liked 10 before somebody pointed that out to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like the metric system then, or the imperial?
do.
Oh,
I would way prefer that.
Yeah.
I had stupid America, man, can't get off of what is it called? The imperial system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do both. I do a lot of like, if I grab a measuring tape, I'm using imperial.
Mhm.
If I grab calipers, I'm using metric system.
Yeah. That's funny. All right. Next one
Yeah.
here. Nick from Montana.
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 Long live Mojito.
Yeah. Mojito?
Yeah.
What's mojito? It's a drink.
Correct. It's
Yes.
also our mutual friend that passed away in Hollister Hills. If this is the same Nick, I think it is.
Okay.
The one that was was building his rig for the what's it called where you go out and save people? Search and rescue.
Search and rescue.
The guy from that did search and rescue. He called in. You don't remember? He also
No.
showed an ambulance or an F-350 that he put an ambulance back on or something like that on
that
our snow
guy.
quad. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see if that's who this is. Looks like there's some talking here about electric cars.
Okay.
Where is the play button? Here it is.
Hey guys, Nick from Montana calling back to clarify the daily driver tow rig electric car nonsense. I appreciate your thought, Jimmy, riding a bike in 20 below weather on icy roads. I have too many spine surgeries already to do that. And driving a diesel in that 20 below weather is kind of why I was thinking something like an electric car that's already preheated. Because my Tahoe doesn't honestly even warm up until I pull into work. So some fun problems dealing with the Great White North. Other than that, the Tahoe works great for everything. I'm just running out of space to park things in my little HOA, which is going to be rough. No matter what it is, they tolerate a lot. But the goal is, I guess, every year to have a new rule written about me in the homeowners association and bylaws. And the vice president lives across the street from me. So it's all good.
Fun.
Thanks, guys. Keep crawling. We'll see you soon.
That's funny.
All I gotta say is give that guy a bottle of whiskey every once in a while.
Yep. Keep that guy on his good side.
Keep him happy. But yeah, in regards to cold weather, I'm not even sure how well electric vehicles work.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
well, the thing is
he doesn't go far, but
he's not going far, and they can stay hot just fine. They just draw a lot of power to do that.
Sure.
So you almost always, with their parked, you need them to stay hooked up to electricity. It's almost like a block warmer in a diesel, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have to have them hooked up to electricity so that they can keep everything warm, so that the batteries work when you need them to work.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. In regards, I don't have too much information about diesels, but I know that the block warmer is to keep the block warm enough so that when the glow plugs are turned on, they'll actually work. It's
Yes.
not so cold that the glow plugs can't warm it up.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think, there's some interesting hurdles in regards to winter that, California doesn't really have to worry about.
I wonder what Sweden does. Because I know Sweden and the Nordic countries, they're big into electric vehicles, electrifying things, zero emission stuff. How did they handle winters?
Yeah. I wonder if you can get hand warmers, like handlebar hand warmers or a handlebar
For his
seat
bike?
warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And then a dry suit
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can figure this out.
Yeah, we can
Nick.
figure this out. We'll find a way.
Yeah.
All right. Next one for today. Man, we were rolling through. I'm making some good time.
Good. Bring it.
We
We're
got
gonna get to 0.
Lance, not the company.
Lance.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day, buddy.
Yeah. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hey, Tyler and Jimmy, it's Lance, not the company. I was just listening to the Barrett Lake episode, 6 out of 5 every time. I may have missed it. My truck gets a little bit loud, so forgive me if I didn't miss it. But I didn't hear about the requirements for Barrett Lake. I know that you guys usually talk about, like on the Rubicon or on Fordyce, you talk about tire sizes and things like that. What the requirements would be for that. And again, if I missed it, I apologize, but if you could touch back on that. And in the meantime, I'll probably go back through the podcast and listen again like I used to do. So anyway, as always, 6 out of 5 every time. Love you guys. You guys are the best.
Fun one. So, requirements for Barrett Lake. I don't know if we actually really hit on that too much.
I don't think we talked about it.
In my opinion, you need slightly bigger requirements for Barrett Lake than you do the Rubicon.
Okay.
And I like to judge what you need for trails based on the easiest path through the trail. And there's, for the most part, the Rubicon, you can get through on 33s and 1 locker.
Okay.
You're going to struggle.
You're going to
have a hard time.
It'll be a bumpy ride.
It'll be a bumpy ride, but it can be done. And a winch will help in some spots for sure. Barrett Lake, in my opinion, you really need 35s. There's 2 spots on Barrett Lake that you just need ground clearance. And if you don't have that ground clearance, you're going to turtle, and you just either need to accept it and go and get turtled, then have somebody pull you off or winch yourself off.
Yeah.
And if you're on 35s or smaller, there's a 90% chance it's going to happen in those 2 spots.
The one after the S turn is the one I'm thinking of, and I've been turtled there on my 37s.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think it has, in that regards, it has to do with the longer your vehicle is, the bigger tires you need.
Yeah.
Because your breakover angle is less.
Yep.
But yeah, I would agree. I would say, if you're going to go off-roading, I highly suggest rock sliders, skid plates, and bumpers regardless.
Yep.
Right. And then it's a matter of what size tires, and then if you need lockers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 35s, I would say rear locker minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you could get in and out of that trail without a rear locker, but you're going to just struggle even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's people like Randy Slauson that takes a Tacoma on 32s, 33s, maybe open, and bombs that trail. No problem.
Right. Absolutely.
But that's a Slauson thing.
Right.
So
I did have a piece of feedback in regards to our trail highlights or high points.
Uh-huh.
They said, please give us feedback on when is the best time to hit the trail.
That's a
So
great idea.
we really haven't talked about that on any of the previous episodes, but since we're talking about Barrett, we did kind of allude to Barrett is that it has such a open window of time.
Yeah.
And so as soon as it opens, you've got to get going.
Yeah.
Like that, as soon as it's open, it's available to go. You've got a good clear trail. You should hit the trail as you can. And then they close that trail, like right after first snow, even before the first snow.
Yep.
And so there's a limited window on Barrett to go out and wheel it. And so if it's open, it's go time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's usually the last trail to open here in Northern California. And the first one to close.
Yep.
So as soon as it's open, make time and get out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback there, Lance.
Let's see. Zack, not from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Is the next one. So let's see what this Zack has to say. Zack number 2.
Hey guys, this is Zack, not from Oklahoma, from Southern California. I wanted to see if you had seen the news about the Ram Charger. It's the wrong brand. It's a Dodge, but it's a hybrid. It has up to 150 miles of electric range, but it has the famous 3.6 Pentastar, but it is not tied to the drivetrain at all. It is purely a generator that runs just to charge the battery if you go over your electric range. I think it's pretty smart. It seems like a really good idea and a good happy medium between having to drive around town and not use any gas, but then having the gas when you need it. I'm just curious what you think after all of your electrification talk. All right, keep crawling. Bye.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
Dodge stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on.
It's going to end up broken down the side of the road anyway. So
Yeah, right.
I actually did hear about this.
Okay, good. Then you can talk about it.
Yeah, and the concept is such that, you know, it's an EV vehicle, 100% EV, because that's the classification of what powers the vehicle, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then the engine, it's just an energy generator. It's a big Honda 2000 generator, right?
Yeah, right. Big one.
Yeah. I like it. I like the idea. I like the concept. In my opinion, I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose of having the going EV, because the whole kind of purpose of going EV is that you don't have emissions.
Yeah.
It's a zero emission vehicle. So if you have a generator that you're driving around hauling the extra weight of your generator in order to create more power so that your electric motors can drive you more, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having the electric motors in the first place, in my opinion. Like, why not just get a P2 hybrid at that point? But at the same time, you're not putting out as much emissions as if you were driving on the gas motor.
Sure.
The gas motor was driving the vehicle. So, yeah, I think it's a happy medium. I'm curious to see how it works in actuality and how much power that engine is able to create to keep the batteries up and how long that can extend your range. I haven't seen any of those stats yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if you were to drive from, you know, Southern California to Northern California, would you be able to make it by filling up with gas?
Yeah. Like, and yeah,
Right.
like, and if, yeah, the whole thing with EVs is how long does it take you to charge?
Right. Yeah.
So right now, typical EV charge is 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Typical gas refill, 5-10 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah.
So the whole point would be to try and get an EV vehicle that can recharge within 5 to 10 minutes, the same rate as which gas recharges, right?
Sure.
So if you can regenerate the power in your batteries of your EV using an onboard power generator, faster or just as fast as you use that power,
Mm-hmm.
then 100%. You have an EV with much lower emissions than, much lower emissions than an internal combustion engine. And, but you still can refill, quote unquote, that EV's battery packs in the same amount of time it takes to refill a gas car or diesel car. I think that's a big win for consumers. I think it's much more likely for consumers to adopt it. I'm just curious if that's possible. Can you really charge that? Can a 3.6 Pentastar create enough energy
to charge the batteries
faster on the go faster than they're being used?
Yeah. I don't know what size engine you would need to continue that.
Yeah.
In regards to this though, same general question. I was having a conversation with my parents about, they're considering getting a new car, getting rid of my mom's like 01 Camry with the windows barely roll up anymore. My parents are so funny. It's, you know, it's like, oh, the car's like falling apart. Now it's time to get a new one. I'm like, yeah, you should have got a new one.
The car's 23 years old now.
Yeah, a little while ago. My mom, and now we're at a point where the tech is so far. I don't know if my mom's going to be able to adapt.
Oh yeah.
You know, so anyway, so they're talking about, should we get an electric vehicle? And I said, I would get a hybrid electric, something that has a motor, in case you go too far, but also something that drives primarily on electric power.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And I know that, I have a few friends that have recently purchased the new RAV4 hybrid electric, and the RAV4 gets an estimated 40 miles of fully electric, and then it'll convert over to the hybrid state.
Yeah.
And that's great because I don't think my mom's going to drive more than 40 miles a day most of the time.
Yeah.
But then if you do drive more than 40 miles, like you go do your errands, you go pick up one of the grandchildren, you go take them out to ice cream, then you come home, maybe you're over 40 miles and then you roll over and you don't have to worry about running out of electric power.
Yep.
So I think they're right now we're in a very interesting time where there's a lot of really cool tech coming out in
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Like, do you want a full electric? Do you want a hybrid electric? Do you want a P2 hybrid? Do you want this friggin' muscle car
Yeah.
electric car?
Yeah.
It's like, what is the best of all the, best of the worlds, best of the way to do it?
Which is going to be the most used option? That's going to become the normal kind of thing.
I have one of my friends, the Southwest pilot, said that they have the RAV4 hybrid electric and for his wife, and they estimate that they're only going to need to put gas in it 3 times in a year.
Wow. Yep.
I was like, you need to get some fuel stabilizer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now you have a different problem.
Yeah.
Here.
How you need to use that fuel or else it's going to go bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was talking about fuel stabilizers and whatnot.
That's funny.
So, but yeah, there's some really neat options out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can look at it like this 150 miles on a charge. That's more than most people are ever going to do in a day.
Oh yeah, 100%. I forget what the average is. It's, I think 50, 60 miles in a day, like is on the high end of average.
Yeah, I would say it's around 40.
Yeah. If you're driving within the average number of miles per day, electric vehicles are awesome for that.
Yeah.
But if you're have long commutes or you need towing capacity or other stuff, I don't think electric is there yet.
Nope.
And so it's an interesting spot where electric will, I think, work for 70-80% of the United States or something like that. But it's not going to work still for everybody. And so that's where I have the problem of, and it's still not the best option either.
Right.
And like forcing everybody to go full electric is going to cause, I think, a lot of other issues and some major safety hazards that, like, I think that we need to find a balance there, not just all in.
True.
So
agreed.
Anyways, one more today.
Okay.
We have some fun information from a first-time caller.
Oh.
He wanted me to call him so he could tell me.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, just call in. This is cool information that you have. Call in so that, A, people can hear his voice finally, because we talk about him a lot.
Okay.
But B, it's just some really cool information. I thought it'd be cool to come from him.
Perfect.
And he loves talking anyways. So I'm like, why haven't you called in earlier?
All right. I'm kind of curious who it is.
All right. You'll know right away.
All right.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Hey, this is Dave from RTA. Signal Peak. Not only for avalanche control, but the signalmen used to have a green and a red signal light so they could tell the trains whether it was clear from the other direction for the trains to come up and over the hill. The other thing is, Nick, if he does change his 60s out of his Gladiator, I know where there is a brand new set of 44s out of another Gladiator available.
Oh.
Toyotas don't suck, but Jeeps do only need one transfer case.
Was he on a train when he called that in?
He drives big rigs too. So he's a heavy hauler as well. So it could have been his truck.
Got it.
One of the trucks or things that he drives. So
yeah, he didn't say his name.
He said Dave from RTA.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's our Snail Squad member and good friend Dave McKinney, who does the Rubicon Trail Adventures.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so we've talked about him a good handful of times. That was some good information. I didn't know about the lights. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah. Should we do one more?
Yeah,
we got a little bit of time?
Sure.
Yeah, we're only 34 minutes.
We're going to get to 0.
All right, we're going to keep going. We're here for another 2 hours. All right, last one today. And just FYI, Nick DeLuca, Mr. Gladiator on 29s. That message was for you. So call Dave McKinney if you're interested. Kevin Poole.
Okay.
Uncle Poole.
Hey guys, Kevin here.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, I had a question. So I'm getting back into the club stuff again and after some time off. Trying to put some trips together. I guess I'm going to be the trail lead. I was wondering if you guys had any tips on communication, lining things up, and just, I guess, being a trail guide. That's pretty much it. If there's any tips or talking too much on it, certain channels, or kind of how you guys line up guiding a trip, that'd be awesome. And then also, I need to get my ham license. So, questions for Tyler is study material and just general information on getting your ham license. I have all the equipment. I've just been procrastinating actually getting my license, but it's in the works. All right, peace out.
All right, so we are going to be here another 2 hours.
Yeah, right? Damn it, Kevin. We should have not done this one for the last one. This should have been the first one.
I swear
And
I did,
only
not,
one
I
of
did
last-
not know that this was going to be a ham radio. I guess first, what was the first question? Communications?
Trail lead, trail setup, trail communications. I think that could be a literal whole episode.
It totally could. And from my experience, I'm going to keep it short. More is
Sure.
better. More is
More
better.
what?
More communication.
Okay.
And getting as many people in the group on that radio communication as you can is the better thing as well. You get to talk about camaraderie as you go in. If everything's going well, then everybody's like, oh, yep, here we're having a good time. And, oh, yeah, that idiot in front of me just did this. And everybody gets to laugh at him, blah, blah, blah. So the camaraderie part of it encourages camaraderie, which just makes everybody's trip more fun. B, it helps keep track of everybody. And if you're always kind of updating on, say you have a group of 5 people, you only really need the front person, maybe the rear person, to be announcing where they are when they've passed certain points so that you know roughly how much time everyone is behind you. But if you've got 10, 20 vehicles total, you can have the front, the end, and then maybe one in the middle. If you've got more than that, you want to add another one in the middle kind of thing, so that you're kind of getting an idea and updates of at what rate the rest of the trail is behind you. Because typically as the lead, you don't know. You know that the rig is right behind you, but somebody else could have stopped and the person in front of them just kept going because they're afraid to lose sight of you rather than just stopping and doing the, keep somebody in your rearview mirror kind of thing. And so having radio communications allows you to keep track of everybody, the rate at which the trail's moving. So it knows, as the front vehicle, whether you're keeping a good pace or not, whether you're going too fast or too slow kind of thing. And the more that you kind of have that camaraderie going on throughout the day, the more likely people are to give their updates on when they're passing those points. So you know how far behind you everybody is.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, more communication is always better. And we run, so the Mad Hatters runs, we're always very talkative on the radio. All the Mad Hatters pretty much are, a major majority of them have their ham licenses. So we're very chatty on the radios on our trips. When we do the Snowcat run, we generally have quite a bit of chatter going on the radios. And every year I get a comment or feedback from at least 1 or 2 people on the trip that says, that was awesome. We've never had that much radio communications before. Like, it always just kind of dead and quiet, and we're just kind of traversing through the snow, which is fun by itself. But they always say, I always get some sort of feedback every year that they enjoy how much communication is going through. And I always kind of worry, are we talking too much? Are we being too rambunctious on the radio? And I keep getting feedback after feedback that people enjoy that.
Got it. Okay.
So more is better. Communicate, foster a lot of communication. And if that just comes down to telling jokes to each other, picking on people, having camaraderie, do it.
Yeah.
So
what about, and I know this has been or was a role of yours at one point. How about within the club, setting up club runs?
That really, that comes down to the details for it. And you're going to have people that just want the highlights, the cliff notes, and you're going to want people there's going to be people that are like, I need every single detail because I need to know every left turn that we're going to make, at what speed we're going to be going, and all this other stuff. So you really almost, as you're planning a trip out for your club, you almost need 2 different versions of the trip plan. A super quick highlight. Hey, we're meeting here at 8 a.m. on trail by 8:30. Lunch is here or off trail by this time. And that's all some people need.
Right.
Other people need to know, oh, we're going to be here at 8 a.m., but you might want to get gas. Here's a few different gas station options from leading up to it. And then make sure you're here by this time. And then by this time, we're going to do the driver's meeting. And this time we're going to be taking off. And this time we're going to get to the trailhead and air down. And this time we're going to do this. And they need like a step-by-step of how everything's going to go.
Sure.
And I find that typically newer people need that because they're a little anxious about taking their $20, $30, $50, $100,000 vehicles out on these trails. And they're like, I don't know what's going to happen kind of thing. And so by having almost information overload, It helps them concentrate on that rather than the information, rather than the vehicle and what's happening on the trail, right?
Okay.
So it's almost like a distraction.
Yeah. You keep answering it to participation, but what I was trying to allude to was, what about setting it up in the club with like your club, the other officials? Like, what if there's no trail run scheduled and you're the trail leader or trail person and you want to create a trail run? How would somebody go about doing that?
Really, I'm a big proponent of, if you want to go wheeling, then create the opportunities to go wheeling for yourself and have other people join you.
Okay.
Because it's always more fun to go wheeling with other people. Like going wheeling by myself is all right, but typically by the end of the day, I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would much rather always go wheeling with other people. I think that's usually the case with people that join clubs. Yeah. But like, if there's not a wheeling opportunity and you want to go wheeling, create the opportunity. I'm sure there's other people that want to go wheeling too. They just don't know how to either run a trip. They don't want to lead a trip. So they're waiting for somebody else to speak up.
Yeah.
And if you can be the person to speak up and then just be willing to put in a little bit of extra work, you can create a lot of great wheeling opportunities, not just for yourself, but for other people.
Sure. So if you like, it sounds like Kevin's going to be the trail like organizer for his club. So really it comes down to being like, hey, I'm going to go wheeling this weekend. If any of you guys want to go wheeling with me, that's fine. Here's where I'm going. Here's the times I'm going to be there and all that. Like, and if you can make it, you can make it, sort of a thing. But then I think there's also a level at which you need to communicate with the president and the vice president, secretary or whatever, and be like, hey, I want to organize a run this weekend.
The one thing that the Mad Hatters do that I absolutely love that not a whole lot of clubs do is we set up our runs for 2024. We set up all the runs for 2024 in December or November of 2023.
Okay.
So we're planning out the entire year ahead of time. Right. And so the goal is, as a club, we've decided that we want to have one event, quote unquote, per month as average opportunities. Okay. And so, we'll say, okay, January is coming up. Does anybody want to do a snow wheeling trip, or does anybody want to try and do an overnight snow camping trip? Or is the trip for January going to be King of the Hammers for people to go down to?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, and then we'll look at February. And it really comes down to, we ask, who wants to go wheeling in February? Who wants to go wheeling in March? Who wants to go wheeling in April? Yeah. Me. And so that's usually how it ends up going is, you want to go wheeling in April. What trails would you want to see? And it really comes down to whoever puts up their hand to volunteer and says they want to go wheeling, they kind of get to help make the plans, and it's them. And if anybody complains about the plans, we tell them, too bad, so sad, shut up, sit down, go have fun. If you have complaints about it, volunteer next time.
Right.
If you don't want to volunteer or organize your own trip, then you're along for the ride. You get to go along with whoever volunteers, you get to make the details. And we try and make sure that that's fostered as much as possible.
So there's not necessarily a trail organizer that oversees all the people that are running all the different runs?
Not necessarily. It really depends on the club.
Okay.
Like in the Mad Hatters, the vice president is supposed to kind of help make sure that there's activities going on each month and help people plan those activities. But we actually have a pretty decent membership of people that want to go wheeling and want to step up and do stuff.
Sure.
So, I haven't needed to do as much of that as the vice president, in the past couple of years.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right. Now for the other part.
This one I'll try and keep really short. Hamstudy.org.
And with that, my friends, that brings us to the end of the podcast. No, just kidding. Sorry, that was a joke.
You're not even citing up. You muted the button as well as turned down my volume.
That was perfect. Like I meant to.
No, super easy. Hamstudy.org. It's online free flashcards. Go there. If you want to have an actual class type scenario of being able to kind of learn some of the material as you're memorizing it, then hamprep.com, I believe it is, hamprep.com, hamradioprep.com. That's what it is. That one actually has pretty good classes set up for a lot of different scenarios. They've got your tech, general, amateur extra. licenses, plus how to use your radio classes and other fun things going on, how to run HF kind of thing.
And now you can take classes online, right?
Though that is kind of the online one that I recommend for off-roaders because they teach it from a prepper standpoint rather than somebody who's trying to get into ham radio as a hobby.
Right. But I'm saying that you can get your license.
The testing can be done online now.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. They've gone back to a lot of places are doing in-person testing again, but there are still options for online testing to get your ham radio license now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the two study routes I would suggest.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that have gotten their ham radio license by just going over the flashcards over and over and over and over and over a bunch of times.
Yep.
Till they understand the questions and understand the answers and which is right. And then go get the test. The problem with that is then you don't understand. You don't know what to do.
100%.
Right. So taking the classes might seem a little bit more mundane and timely, but you get a better understanding of what to do and how to use the radio.
You do. And this is the catch-22 of ham radios.
Yeah.
In order to understand ham radios, in my opinion, you really need to use them.
Sure.
You need to have hands-on experience with radios in order to understand how they're working, what they're doing to make the magic work. But you can't use them or play with them until you have a license.
Right.
So you can't really get that license unless you kind of know how they work and what's going on with them, but you can't really know how they work and what's going on with them until you use them.
Yeah.
Can't use them until you get your license. Can't you get your license until you know, can't know until you use them. So it's this really annoying catch-22. So for like the technician license, which gets you in and allows you to start using radios and understanding how they work, I always tell people just go do the flashcards.
Sure.
It's the easiest, simplest way. A lot of it is common sense stuff that once you hear once, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like don't be a dick on the radio. No jamming signals. It's a federal offense.
Yeah. You're not allowed to play music over the radio waves.
Yeah. So stuff like that. It's pretty common sense stuff that once you hear once, you're like, okay, that makes sense. There's a couple of math things. There's 2 math formulas you need to know. But once you have those 2 formulas down, you're like, okay, you can answer 90% of the math problems that they ask you on the test. So it's just go for the technician license to get in and start playing around with radios. Just go do the flashcards at hamstudy.org. If you want to take it further and get your general license or your amateur extra, then take some of the other classes, and hamradioprep.com is awesome for those.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, is that all for us this week?
I think that does it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We're a little longer than anticipated. Thanks Kevin. Mr. Noodle Pool. If you want to call in and be a part of these snail mail segments and ask us some fun questions, like I'm curious what you guys think about self-driving cars. They're all of our electric car talk. You can do that at area code 916-345-4744. You can always email us, Jimmy or Tyler, at SnailTrail4x4.com. Or you can find me on Instagram over at SnailTrail4x4 and Tyler over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler.
That's it. So, Jimmy, I have something to say.
What?
I have a secret to tell
Damn
everybody.
it, Tyler. What is it?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I want to tell it. I can't tell. Actually, I was supposed to have a phone meeting today with somebody to get a little bit more details about maybe when I can tell people, but they haven't called me back yet. So
okay,
I can't tell you yet. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
The number you have called has been disconnected.